Hi, everybody, and welcome to an exclusive Sports Wave coming to you from the boardroom at Delta Cable. Very pleased to have in studio this afternoon Mr. Ken Mills, President and General Manager for the new franchise in North Delta, the North Delta Flyers. First off, Kenny, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Steve. I'm really glad to be here.
Well, this is a new undertaking, and let's get right back to basic. We get a new junior team playing out of the Sungod Arena, which has been vacant for a number of years. But how did the team get to this stage right now? Where did it all start? Who came up with the idea?
Well, we've operated in Queen's Park the past few seasons, and the support for the team just wasn't there, and we knew that there was a need for a move, and so we looked for a community that we thought would support junior hockey, and North Delta has probably one of the most premier facilities in Sungod Arena, so we looked at moving the franchise there, contacted the arena, and went through a progression of steps, and here we are, excited about the prospect of opening up in Sungod Arena.
We look at the situation where they've had franchises in the past, and a lot of people have been really critical, saying, well, you've got this gorgeous complex that seats over 2,000 people, but how are you going to entice the people there, because it's never survived in the past?
I'm vaguely familiar with the teams that were there. I was a fan back in the days, and I don't know how their marketing and promotion was done back then, but I know that the demographics in North Delta, the community itself has changed somewhat over the years. It's been 16 years since there has been junior hockey in North Delta, and we know that currently there is 5 high schools within 1 mile of the arena. We see that as being our fan base. We think that if we can provide an entertainment for the young hockey fans in North Delta and encourage the schools and the community, we can be successful in North Delta.
And now, if I'm president for minor hockey in North Delta, as Jimmy Musselwhite is, one of my first concerns is, hey, are you coming in, or number one is, are you going to take any of our ice time?
Well, that's actually, that's interesting, because the first conversation I had was with the arena manager, Kerry Bysouth, and that was his initial concern, that anything that happened in Sungod had to be with the agreement of not only minor hockey but all user groups. And we fully agreed. We are not there to displace anyone. We know how valuable ice is in all of the communities, and North Delta, of course, it's very prime. So with the negotiation that we had with minor hockey, we had to assure them that no minor hockey ice time would be lost by us coming on board. And to facilitate that, we went out and made an agreement with the Great Pacific Forum, whereby the 2 ice times on Saturday evenings that we will be using for game times, we have replaced those ice times at the Great Pacific Forum for North Delta minor hockey. Our practices won't be in the Sungod Arena, so therefore that ice time is not taking away from minor hockey, and that was something that North Delta was excited about working with us on and very prepared to accept.
Okay, now the PJHL, or the Pacific International Junior Hockey League, as it's come to be known, years back it used to be the West Coast Junior Hockey League. They had teams as far south as Seattle. Seattle's sort of been by the wayside in the last few years because Don Chipko was the head coach for that organization. Going back to the league, when you first approached the PJHL and the president and the owners, weren't they leery on, like, you know, the move? Or secondly, wouldn't they have come to you and said, well, okay, there's got to be a territorial thing here, now you have to pay us money?
Well, we did have some challenges on the territorial rights, and we were very fortunate that the franchise that is in Delta, the Delta Ice Hawks, the owner, Jerry Metherall, was actually very excited about the opportunity to actually have a crosstown rival. And we were able to negotiate between the two of us what we thought was a fair compensation for us moving into his territory, and a player arrangement whereby the North Delta players that are currently involved with the Delta program and have been recruited by the Delta program, we wouldn't infringe upon. And then when we both looked at the opportunity, it far outweighed anything in the way of a negative. The two associations are separate at the minor level with South Delta and North Delta. We both think that we can build quite a rivalry, and in doing that, our fans will head south to the Ladner Arena, and their fans will head north up to Sungod, and it's a win-win for both of us.
Excluding the Delta Ice Hawks, was there any ramifications from any of the other teams that are in the league?
Initially, there was a challenge from Port Coquitlam, and that had to be dealt with at a governor's level. And the league has, since that time, actually reassessed the territorial boundaries, because prior to our move, it was a 15-mile territorial district, which in actual fact, 10 years ago, Port Coquitlam would not have been within 15 miles of the Sungod Arena. But with the emergence of the perimeter road that was added, it now is exactly 14.91 miles, and we were within their rights. So we had to make some amends. We've changed what now is considered to be the territories within the PJHL, and we've moved forward.
Were there some individuals that maybe thought this was a new franchise coming in rather than just a lateral move from Queen's Park?
Yeah, initially that was the challenge. There was a challenge that the franchise should be, there should be some monetary compensation made to a team in our league for moving into Sungod, whereas in actual fact, having been in Queen's Park, we felt that we had the rights to Sungod Arena once an agreement with Delta had been arranged. And that was a challenge. There was a fairly substantial amount of money that was being demanded by the Port Coquitlam Buckaroos that we were able to, through the league governors and presidents, plead our case, and it was understood that no, it did not affect their territorial rights, but in actual fact, we were moving within our own territory that we had established by moving into Queen's Park.
Okay, now you're going to be playing on Saturday nights at Sungod, correct?
Correct.
What time's the game?
Game time is at 7:30. The drop of the puck is at 7:30. We go on for warm-up at 7, ice clean at 7:15, and then the anthem will be sung at 7:30.
Okay, now you must have had a long, tedious amount of work to do from the start. Once you got the move all accomplished and everything was all coherent that way, now you've got to look and say, okay, where do we get players? Have you got players returning from last year to play with the Pirates? And, you know, where do you go?
We're very fortunate. We consider ourselves to be a true development program. So our recruitment process was to bring players on board that only had an interest in developing their skills and playing at the next level. So therefore, we didn't have any 20-year-olds on our team last year. So of our 21-man roster, all 21 were eligible to return to us this season. Fully knowing that that wouldn't be the case because the recruiting we did was very successful, the development we put forward was successful, and we know now that we'll possibly lose 10 to 12 of those players that have now advanced to either teams in the BC Junior Hockey League or the Western Hockey League.
Wow, that's a big undertaking. Okay, coaching staff. Same coaching staff as in Queen's Park, or have you changed?
No, I was actually an assistant coach last year alongside of another chap, Tim Keller. Tim is now, we have appointed him as our head coach and director of player personnel. We've brought on board a North Delta longtime hockey coach, Daryl Erickson, and a gentleman out of Ridge Meadows, Glenn Carrier, as assistants.
Well, so you have made some major changes to it.
Yes.
What were they looking at when they first come over? What type of team were they focused on, and how was their direction different from yours or the same?
No, we're all very much on the same page, and that's what excites us about this season. The guys that we've brought on board are all 100% on board as far as a development program. We're not looking to build a team that'll win the championship at all costs. We're looking at taking players that do truly aspire to play at the next level, and our focus is to take those guys, give them the opportunity to play at this level, and then wish them well at the end of the season and hope that they do catch on in the Western Hockey League or the BC Junior Hockey League.
Yeah, are you going to be bringing players in from other parts of, we'll say Canada, for example, or even the States, and having to billet them anywhere?
There may be that possibility. Last year on our team in Queen's Park, we had one boy from Cleveland, Ohio, and we had two boys from, one from Long Beach and one from Huntington Beach, California. They were all eligible to return. The one from Cleveland has since signed in the North American Hockey League and is going to be playing out of Springfield. And one of the boys has decided to go to college in California, and the other is here currently skating, and we expect to have him in our lineup again this year, and in which case, yes, he will be billeted.
Okay, the PIJHL, how many teams in the league?
7 teams.
And where are they all from?
We have from the long-established franchise in Grandview, then we have the Richmond Sockeyes, Port Coquitlam Buckaroos, Maple Ridge Flames, Abbotsford Pilots, and the Delta Icehawks and the Richmond Sockeyes.
Now, we talked about Seattle. Will Seattle be playing any interchangeable games? Because I hear they are trying to get back into the league.
Yeah, Seattle last year formed a what would be probably referred to more as an all-star midget team. They were called the Seattle Totems. They've taken a concept that a lot of people in British Columbia would like to see in effect in the BC Amateur, and they put it in place last year. So they have a different age grouping in the States than what we have up here. So their team actually comprises of what we would consider to be first-year juveniles and both years of midget. And for this season, they have asked and been granted permission to play PJHL, and we will be traveling down there on occasion throughout the teams within our league, with the thought that they would apply for a franchise effective next season.
This is all under the premise that they could get into the league again next year.
That's correct. They would have to, go through all the necessary approval bodies to do that. I know our league is very receptive to it. It's, then they have to apply to BC Amateur, Canadian Amateur, because they are out of country, and there is some different rules and regulations for teams from outside of the country.
Yeah, you get insurance regulations and certain things that happen to jump into the equation that can really do a little bit of detriment to the league.
Yeah, anything that has the teams incurring a cost is always a concern, because we all run on such a tight budget. The Seattle franchise has agreed to pay all costs incurred for teams. When we go down to play in Seattle, they will pay the busing costs and provide a meal for the team, and they will look after all their own expenses when they come up here. So it's a very exciting opportunity, I think, for the teams in our league. It's a great team builder. It's an opportunity to spend a day with the guys away from the normal, and I know we're really looking forward to it.
Well, not only are you going to have a good rivalry mix with the Delta Icehawks out of Ladner, you look at the head coach for the Richmond Sockeyes. That's Ron Johnson from North Delta.
Ron is an old North Delta guy, and his team has several North Delta residents, the Richmond Sockeyes, and we're quite excited about when they come into the building, because they will bring a good fan base right from our own North Delta area. And Ron himself, I know, is very well known. He, of course, took that team a few years back and won the Western Canadians in Bantam, and a lot of those boys from that team are currently playing in our league, and Ron has got a few, as do we. So.
Now, the league is still growing. They've only got, as you mentioned, the 7 teams in the league. Do you think there's an over-influx of junior teams in the Lower Mainland? And the one question that I had asked of me a short while back is, should the PJHL and the BC Hockey League, now as it's known, should they not amalgamate and have like an A division and a B division and have one league versus the 2 separate ones?
It's an interesting concept. I've never really had any discussion on that. I think that what is happening right now that is, I find very exciting, is that our league, a lot of the teams in our league are looking at the BC Junior League as a great opportunity to affiliate with, and the affiliations are growing stronger. We are affiliated with the Surrey Eagles, Richmond with the Langley Hornets, Ridge Meadows and Coquitlam, and and Abbotsford and Chilliwack. So it's a great opportunity for our players to get a chance during the season to play up. The age, I would think, of our league has dropped in the last 2 years, so that we are becoming more of a development league. The teams do have the ability to carry 20-year-olds, but you're finding less and less teams filling their rosters with 20s, bringing more of the younger players and moving them on to their affiliate.
You make mention that you're got to be Oil Bank Championship going back in 1998 that was actually played in Nanaimo, an organization to belong to.
They've been great. They've assisted us in our move as far as helping us with direction, in recruitment, and Mark is a great leader, team builder. I know that our coaching staff looks up at him and looks towards him for direction. The association that we have with the Eagles has been very beneficial, I think, to both programs. Last year, of our 20-man roster, all but 2 of our players were able to play their maximum 10 games with the parent club. That's an opportunity we see as being a great recruiting tool, because of the chance that we bring to a kid that, comes into a junior B league and then gets to play 10 games up in junior A to get an idea if he's ready to play at that level and what skills he needs to work on to get to that level. And Surrey's afforded us that opportunity.
Yeah, and contrary to popular belief, the kids know whether they're ready to go to the next step in their own mind. Nobody has to tell them that.
That's exactly right.
You know, that's so true. But okay, you've got the kids in place. You're looking at them. We'll talk about training camp shortly. But the question that comes to mind now is, if you're going to get the community involved, the people that are going to work, and I'm talking like goal judges, security, whoever it might be, have you got these people on board, and how do you get them there?
Well, we had a volunteer social. We've on our website we promoted a volunteer event, and through minor hockey and through the community we've advertised, and we had a volunteer social, and we were very excited at the turnout we got. We had over 50 people in attendance. We had 37 families that came forward and offered their assistance throughout the season. So we've got a great crew for volunteers. We've got goal judges, scorekeepers. We've had a broadcaster come on board that's attending Columbia School of Broadcasting. We very much want to make it a community-driven team, so the North Delta people are what we're looking towards. And right from the young kids, we've got a couple young boys want to come on board as stick boys, up to a couple of pensioners that have asked if they can just do some goal judge work or work as security, program sales, whatever we need.
Is your team going to be involved in the minor hockey program, for example, going out and running clinics, or is this something that you're still in the process of discussing with the minor hockey?
No, we've actually put some very exciting programs in place. Minor hockey has been given the opportunity to sell the 50-50 at all of our home games, and from that they will keep the proceeds. As well, we have committed ourselves to the younger age, the initiation program with North Delta, whereby our players will be made available at practices and any at the development skates, and we'll have our players out there to assist, to run drills, to demonstrate whatever they might require, which is something I think North Delta is very excited about, as we are. And as well, our coaches have volunteered to be part of any coach development that is going to be taking place throughout the season.
Well, you've got a big undertaking. You've done a great job. Now, you talk about playing out of Sungod on Saturday nights. Boy, oh boy, what a nice feeling. You go in there now, and we've covered it on Sportswave to the extent that this is just state-of-the-art now. They've made major changes. They've got, never mind putting a new cement floor down, they've got new boards, solid glass all the way around. You've been in there and looked around. Obviously, you're very impressed.
It's great. It's, without question, it's, never mind PJHL. I think we have the nicest arena of any team playing in the Lower Mainland. You know, BC Junior, PJHL, that's, Sungod is by far the premier facility right now. They've made some upgrades to the facility that I make it second to none in the Lower Mainland.
Oh, it's a first-class event and organization, and we've spoken to Kerry Byside ourselves on several shows and asked Kerry about, you know, what they're looking at and where they're looking at going. And Kerry was very adamant to the point that they understand, the corporation understands, that with you going in there, you're not looking at displacing anybody, as we've spoken about. All right, then you talk about rivalry with the Delta Ice Hawks and the Surrey Eagles. Shane Cuss coaches the Ice Hawks, ex-Surrey Eagle, who holds scoring records extraordinaire with the Surrey Eagles in the BC Hockey League. That's going to be a good rivalry.
It's great. Shane's actually a player that's had his number retired by the Surrey Eagles, hanging up in South Surrey. One of a few. Yeah, and Shane again is very excited about this. You know, he knows the relationship we have with Surrey, and he thinks that it's great for their program as well. You know, anything that can create a little bit of a buzz in our league that will work to any one team's favor, I think is good for all of us. And I think Shane's truly excited about the opportunity to come into Sungod with the Delta Ice Hawks and play in front of a good crowd and take some of those fans back down to Ladner on Tuesday nights when we play back down there. Well, they got a good drawing base down there, and I know Shane, along with the rest of the group that plays at Ladner, they've got a solid base. Every time I go down there, we cover a game with Delta Cable. It's packed down there for people. Yeah, they've done a good job. They have as well another one of the teams in our league that has, I believe, on their roster last year was 3 or 4 North Delta boys. And I've spoken to a few of them, and they're all excited about coming home because none of them have ever been able to play. Once they left minor hockey, they've never played in Sungod again. And the North Delta boys are very excited about coming back home with their junior team and and playing in front of their old friends in Sungod, and we're excited about it as well.
It sure can't hurt, never mind being involved with the Surrey Eagles, it sure can't hurt having the Vancouver Giants based out of the Ladner Delta area either.
Yeah, all of the hockey exposure that the Delta area is receiving right now is good for all of us. The Giants are playing an exhibition game in Ladner. You know, the team is billeting their players in the South Delta area. They practice out of Tilbury. We as well will be practicing out of Tilbury. There's training going on in that area. The Ice Hawks have done a good job recruiting. They've got a couple of the young Western Hockey League prospects that they've got on board for this year. And all of these things, I think, are just really positives for our league.
Now, in the off-season, you had a solid and very respectable showing out and around the community. You attended different functions. You were at the Scottsdale Mall, for example, on a couple of different weekends, showing people what you have, had puck shoots. What was the take of the people coming in, and you know, were they receptive, or were they saying, "Oh yeah, right, here's just another junior team"?
No, it's been great. We kicked it all off with the Delta Days at the celebration at Annieville Park and the parade.
Way back in June.
And that was the initial exposing the North Delta area to our hockey team. That was really well received. The excitement throughout the crowd and at the park was great. We had a lot of people coming up commenting on the fact that they're really looking forward to the fall when hockey comes back, and their support of our team. Then the reinforcement of that at Scottsdale Mall. The attendance there was tremendous. The kids seemed truly excited, as did our players. It was a great opportunity for our guys to get out in the community and fulfill some of the things we've promised we are going to do. You know, we've told the community that we will become a part of it. We'll offer our services. We've gone to the Hillcrest Boys and Girls Club up on 84th Avenue, and we've asked to become involved in their after-school floor hockey program and provide our players. We're going to be in the elementary schools as well with reading programs. We're really excited about getting out in the community and giving something back, because we think that's how we get the community support, is by giving something back to them in return.
So true. And I know the BC Hockey League, they're heavily focused on the fact in the area of education. How close does the PJHL work with the education aspect for the kids? Like, supposing they skip classes, are they still on the team? Does the team say, look, pick up your grades or your toast? Or what's the deal with the education for your league versus the BC Junior League?
Our teams are not as tightly involved in the schooling, being that our players aren't billeted for the most part. And most of our players are attending high school at home, living at home. So the parents will communicate with us if there is a schooling problem, and we support them in any measures that are required to making sure that the grades are kept up. We're interested in building, you know, young men as well as hockey players, so obviously education is a key aspect to that. And with the focus of the BC Hockey League to providing players to college, our young guys are told at a very early time in their start with us that, you know, the schooling is very important, and that the parents, if they bring us aware of a problem, we will support them in whatever they think is necessary as far as making sure that the grades are brought up. We don't ask the players to take time off school to attend our practices or games, as is required in the BC Junior because of some of the practice times. So it's a little bit different, but we do have a very high expectation that the players are rounded, you know, adults as well as just hockey players.
A little different from the BC Hockey League. Travel schedule is not as hectic. I mean, you look at the BC Hockey League, they're traveling up to Prince George, Williams Lake, all the way, you know, to the interior, pretty much the Alberta border in the area. That's nice for the boys.
Yeah, it's great. You know, unlike, like you say, the BC Junior that does have the road trips to PG and Trail, our guys, you know, the furthest out we go for us will be Abbotsford, and now down to Seattle. And those trips are actually fairly well received. Bus out to Abbotsford, because we find it's a great time to get the boys together for an hour or so before the game, and then afterwards it's a little bit of an opportunity to again have some team building, and the boys really enjoy it.
The crest. We look at the crest on the sweater. We look at the crest that we've got in our golf shirts right now. Who designed it?
Well, actually, it was my 16-year-old son and myself sat in front of the computer and played with some pictures and saw some things we liked. The Flyers name is is an old throwback to the old North Delta Flyers, and we thought that we would bring a little bit of history into our team with the name, but we most definitely wanted to go with something a little bit more creative in a logo, as in sports nowadays, logos are without question a very big marketing tool. And we wanted something that we could actually have a threefold crest. On our jerseys, we have the full aviator head with the wings and the flyers, and then we've reduced it to the point where on our golf shirts and jackets we have the option to go with just the flyers, just the wings, and on our jersey we put the wings on the shoulders.
Kenny, I like the logo, I like the crest. I'm looking forward to the product on the ice. I know we're going to be having a chance to come down and cover some of your games this coming season. This is your time to shine. Tell us, the viewers at home, why they should come down, not only support the North Delta Flyers, but also the Delta Ice Hawks and the PIJHL.
Well, I think that it's some future major junior hockey players, future NHLers. The level of hockey that we provide is entertaining. These are young lads, 16, 17, 18 years old, that are out there working for the love of the game. And I think that once they come and see a game, they'll see the excitement and they'll be back as fans.
Okay, Kenny, I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you for coming down to the studios and doing this with us. I really appreciate it. Again, wish you all the best in the future with the team.
Thank you very much.
Well, junior hockey's back in the Delta area, and unlike the National Hockey League and some of the pros today, you're not going to have any holdouts, whether it's on the North Delta Flyers or the Delta Ice Hawks. I want to thank Kenny for coming to the studio and wish them all the best in the future. You're watching Sportswave on Delta Cable.